Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and Friends. You already know I'm Abby. We got Fly Guy in the building. We got Gene, the whole crew. You already know it. Guy, I always got to start with your outfits now. You got on, is it Knicks today that you have on?
Yeah, I'm repping Carmelo Anthony today.
Let's see. Oh, there we go.
For making the Hall of Fame, showing some
you
love.
and Gene can agree on.
It's actually usually not. It's usually he's a Spurs guy, so I enjoy watching you cross over a little bit.
Right. I think I got on my Diamondbacks t-shirt today. I do.
Is that from 2001?
Yeah, it's from the World Series. Yeah, they came out with like little shirts and stuff. Diamondbacks, I mean, we'll get into a little bit of baseball talk, but Diamondbacks are still lingering around a little bit. This is what they do, get my hopes up and whatnot. But let's go ahead and get into it because, man, oh, man, we made it to week 1 of NFL. And, God, it was just like football all weekend. Best time of year. So before we get into some New York Jets talk, some Miami Dolphins talk, I'm going to start with you, Guy. Is there any game that you particularly took interest in this week? Any games you were surprised by? What are you thinking of and feeling about week 1 so far?
I think overall week 1 was pretty good. And not just because we were waiting so long for it. I think there was genuinely a lot of entertaining games. Got to start at the top. That Bills-Ravens game was as advertised, maybe even better. I mean, they came back down 15 with 4 minutes left. That's, it's mind-blowing because the Ravens are a very good team. Mm-hmm. So are the Bills. To be able to do that against that team, man, that just set the tone, I thought, for the season. And that's going to be a 2-horse race mostly. But, the Bills took the early lead with that, statement victory, as they call it, in week 1. But, just overall, that was surprising. I thought McCarthy played well in the second half of the Monday night game. So he showed some promise. I mean, I know we'll get into it later. The Jets-Steelers game was pretty entertaining as well. Very, very good football there. And just, you look around the league, see who's new faces, new places, how they're adjusting. And just very interesting. I thought Aaron Rodgers had a great week too.
Yeah, it was a great week 1. I feel like the Jets-Steelers game was the game of the week until we hit Buffalo and the Ravens game. Because, I mean, the Bills game, absolute cinematic. Just that is what you want. You know what I mean? And what was I going to say too? The story with Prater. He was out here in, because he was with the Cardinals out here in Arizona, took a red eye on Thursday and kicked a game-winning field goal. I mean, that is what the matchup that we probably all want now. We're going to want a rematch of that. Let's be honest, but still lots of football left to be played. Some teams look promising, not the Miami Dolphins, I should say, Guy, but we'll get into it. Don't worry. I'll let you do your little rant about it. But Gene, let's move over to you. How did you feel about week 1? Any games you took interest in?
Obviously the Jets Steelers, that goes without saying, and especially getting my redemption story started September 7th, right? My redemption, the Kiss My Ass tour starts September 7th. And you know what? I'm not even the headliner. That's Justin Fields. I'm just there. I'm a roadie on this tour. But the Kiss My Ass tour started September 7th. It continues Sunday against Buffalo. So we'll get into that because that's part of my rant later on. But yeah, that Sunday night game was insane. A couple of the games I really enjoyed watching was that the Bucs Tampa game. Watching Egbuka almost become a star before our eyes. Came down to a final missed kick. Other games that weren't so close, that was still pretty fun to watch. I love seeing Micah Parsons in a Green Bay jersey. You just seen he's not even full force yet. We already got to see what that defense is, kind of a glimpse of what it's going to look like when he does become that. Because that team, not only him, but you could see what he did, how he transformed the rest of that team was just buzzing. That defense was just buzzing around the field. And I feel like they took that they fed off that vibe with Micah now joining the team. He had that big sack on Goff where he chased him down. So that was even fun to watch. A lot of just football back in general is just amazing. Like even a 33-0 at the time, Miami getting blown out. Sorry, guy. But your pain is my joy. That was beautiful.
It was. And we'll get into that. Now, obviously I took an interest in the Jets Steelers game, of course. I had that on the computer. I have the Cardinals game up on the big screen, and let me tell you, the Cardinals looked a little shaky, to say the least. I am going to the Cardinals home opener this weekend against the Panthers, so I'm super excited for that. I paid a lot of attention to the Denver Broncos game, and that game was a disaster. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is going on here? And during that game, I was also filtering back and forth with Seahawks and the 49ers, which was actually fairly close. Seahawks defense, they're a little bit underrated. I thought they performed pretty well, week one at least. And then, I mean, let me ask, did you guys win your fantasy this week?
Yep.
So in one league, I lost. I got crushed, and I don't know how I got crushed because that's the league that I have a really good team in. Mm-hmm. The other league is where we play 2 games a week, where it's like we play against 2 different teams. So we have so every week it's 2 games, and I'm 2-0 in that one, and I crushed in that one. But the other league where I thought I was really gonna contend for the Super Bowl, I got I think I scored only 80 points, and they scored 140 on me. So it was not. But to be fair, a lot of my guys I'd expected to have big weeks, like a Joe Burrow, Evan Engram. A lot of those guys didn't show up. So and shame on me for not starting Javonte Williams, who had a huge game on Thursday night. He would have been my leading rusher. And he's obviously a guy. He was 4th on my depth chart of running backs. So that was where my mistake was. For
not starting Breece Hall this week. I had Henderson in instead, who did what he was supposed to. Yeah, exactly. They didn't utilize him really in the first quarter, and then they started utilizing him throughout the game. He averaged exactly what he was supposed to. But I won my first fantasy.
game first game ever.
I was super excited, but I also had, so I have the Ravens kicker, which of course is Tyler Loop, Arizona Wildcat. I was very excited for his debut. Kicked the 52-yarder, just beauty. I also had Zay Flowers in, who went off. And then of course I drafted Josh Allen, him alone got me I think 40 points. So I was it just sealed the deal. I crushed him. It was 100 to 150. And I think I scored the most in the league, the most points that week. And I was
wow.
And I told you I have one guy that has he has CD, he has JJ, he has a stud of a roster, and he only scored 90. So
well, if you got a point for every drop, CD might have been the leading guy in the league, and JJ, didn't have Jettas didn't really have the game I think we were expecting. Hopefully, week 1. So I actually have him in one of my leagues, and he was not as advertised for me. So
right, all right. Well, before we get into talking about our respective teams, obviously the Dolphins and the New York Jets. Thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe. You already know the deal. So. Guy, we'll start with you because me and Gene are probably going to go at it. We already know. So let's start with Miami. I mean, what happened from your point of view? What was wrong?
It just looked like they weren't prepared, honestly. Most of that goes on McDaniel. The other most part of the blame goes to Tua for just being so predictable, one-trick pony that he is. Because all he really does is real quick hitters and screens and all short little slants. If you bottle up the middle of the field really or jump those little screen passes, you bottle him up basically. And he doesn't really go through his progressions. Part of that is the offensive line isn't that good, but he looks just like rattled. I don't know, like that doesn't look like a franchise quarterback. He has proven that point, before the game on Sunday. But they signed this contract and they're kind of stuck in this position, although they do have alternatives on the bench that they can go to. And it makes me think about, was Coach Flores right a couple years ago? I know everybody was getting on his case for how he was treating Tua, but maybe he was right all along. When he was putting Fitz magic in the game to kind of like close out the second half, we won a couple games that year because of that. I don't think Tua's made the adjustments. I don't think Coach McDaniel's made any adjustments. He's just, taking it as it comes, winging it. It looks like his locker room doesn't respect him. Looks like they don't really take anything what he says seriously. He's kind of like goofy. He's supposed to be, this offensive savant and play calling genius, and he might be as a coordinator, but as a head coach, having to orchestrate everything and have your hands on everything is a totally different animal. And to manage people's personalities and just garner respect in a room, that's something that is needed for any leader across the board, not just a coach. So just that failure, it's hard to win games that way when there's so many internal things going on. Mm-hmm. With that being said, the execution wasn't good either. You have Tua turning the ball over like it's I don't know, like it's the thing to do. But bad week one, but it's just 1 week. I've seen the New York Giants years ago win a Super Bowl and they got blown out their first 2 games. Mm-hmm. So anything can happen over a course of a season. They still have a chance to right the ship, but that seat is very hot for Coach McDaniel and the GM Greer. That we're going to be watching their seats because they might be out of a job soon if we get a repeat performance.
Dean, didn't you call it that you said the Colts were going to punch him in the mouth?
I believe I did. I had the Colts winning at home week 1. I've stated all offseason I thought this was going to be a bad year for the Dolphins. Not for any other reason other than I just feel like everything's coming to a head because the roster is good, right? It's an excellent roster. I think it's really the coach. I think they got to a point where they're just tuning out the coach. And let me ask you this. And this goes for anybody, really. You don't even have to be a Dolphin fan to answer this one. There's 53 men on a roster, right? Right. The 53 men make the team. Pretty much I'm sure a lot of athletes or there's sports fans too. I'm sure a bunch of them watched First Take and Get Up on ESPN. I'm sure a bunch of them. And they're watching Rex Ryan talk about their team and call their coach McGenius Nerd Boy. How many LOL laughed out loud?
I thought that was hilarious.
At least 50% of that team, even though it's their coach, probably laughed and probably said, yeah, he's probably right. And that's the problem with the Dolphins. Hey, Oliver's in the house. What's up, Oliver?
Now, do you think, this goes for both of you. It's obviously only week 1. Is this a bad sign already for Miami heading into the rest of the season?
Yes. Can I answer that quick? And then Guy can go on it because I know Guy's going to have a really probably more Dolphin educated answer than I will. But I will say this. Did anybody see the post game press conference? He didn't even look up. He was looking down the whole time. I was like, well, it can't get any worse. He looked like a guy with zero confidence. And you cannot be a leader of men where you can't even look the reporters in the eye and then think you're going to go into that locker room and command a coach's respect from your players. He looked so defeated. There's a lot of coaches that would have stood up there and would have been fiery and pissed. Like we were talking before the show, me and Guy, we were talking about Rex Ryan, you know, when he said that about McDaniel and certain coaches like Dan Campbell. Can you picture Dan Campbell going, well, can't get any worse? Do you know what I mean? Like Aaron Glenn. Could you picture Aaron Glenn looking down at the ground, at the microphone, and going, well, can't get any worse? Like these guys, these are the type of guys that you want to lead your team, to lead these guys that come into the league that are still kids to an extent, that to become men. Those are the guys you want to lead your team. You get a guy up there that looks like a kid himself and just can't even look the reporters in the eyes and says the rhetoric that he said post-game with the facial expression that he had post-game, with the body language he had post-game. I can't see how it can really get any better. It might not get worse, but I think they're going to stay at that rock bottom for a little bit longer.
Guy?
Yeah, I mean, it could get better, it could get worse. It really depends. You know, part of it is I've seen players also do well in spite of a bad coach, where they're like, you know what, we got to take matters into our own hands and just play for pride.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because you're still auditioning for a contract next year, most guys. And, you know, even though it's not the best of situations for a lot of guys, you know, the scouts are watching, and how you respond to these moments as a player is going to show, you know. But, I mean, like Gene said, you know, poor body language, what you say, it all is observed, and it matters, and it reverberates down to, you know, all 53 guys, all the rest of the coaching staff. You know, if this guy is exuding like being defeated, or, you know, showing that he doesn't have confidence, like what is that? What are the players and the other guys in the room really thinking about when they see this? You know, like, no, I think McDaniel somebody needs to light a fire under his ass, you know, hotter than the seat that he's sitting in already, because, you know, it's a bad thing, and they might have to get rid of a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's already a malcontent, and I expect changes to happen. It just matters how quickly it happens. And look, if we have a bad season, that's fine, because then that ushers in this new era, which we need desperately. And now more so than ever, you know, quick turnarounds in the NFL happen a lot if you have, you know, pieces in place. So at least that, looking at it from an optimistic point of view, you know, whether it goes bad or we manage to, you know, have a pretty good season, either way, I could see it benefiting us in the long run.
You know what, Guy? In about 17 weeks, I can tell you all about how it feels to change your team up, you know, and get good overnight. I'll tell you in about 17 weeks how it feels.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's a turnaround.
Well, I mean, you both made good points too, and I feel like the thing is that Tua is already like beat up too. So when you see like they're both like Tua's already mentally not in a good place. I'm sure he's on edge every single week. Like, is this concussion thing going to happen again? Because it already happened X amount of times all last season. And it's like to have a coach be just as bad as you. I mean, no one's going to mentally benefit from like two struggling people. Can you imagine if like, what's the head coach for the Vikings name?
Not McCarthy.
O'Connell.
O'Connell.
I knew it was an Irish name.
No, I know. I was like, I know it's like a basic name. Sorry. But can you imagine if at halftime he went in with McCarthy and went into the locker room with that type of attitude? Like everyone would have just been depleted, because honestly, with that Vikings game, nothing was working that first half at all.
They treated that field goal like they just won the Super Bowl.
They literally, they were happy to just have some points,
but it worked.
That's what I'm saying. So that attitude is not going to go over well. And you know what? You got to look at the culture of like Miami too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come from, it's just, C is definitely hot. Guy said it absolutely 100% perfect. So, well, obviously there's tons of football left. You know what I mean? Things can really shift and turn around. But let's go ahead and move on to the good old New York Jets. And man, oh man, was that a hell of a game on Sunday. And you know what, Gene? I hate to say it, but the New York Jets, they're not the same old New York Jets. I'm not going to say that, but they lost in a typical New York Jets fashion.
100%. I agree with you on that.
And it's something that I saw all last season. And we'll mention Buffalo because Buffalo did it. Good teams find a way to win football games. And
it was in a reverse way, though. Last year and other years, it would we'd hold the team to 10, but only score 9. This week we scored 32 and we gave up 34.
That's it was just absolutely crazy. So, Gene, what do you in my head? I'm like, where do you want to start? You want to start talking about Justin Fields?
You know, I mean, we might as well because that's the spot. You know,
we could talk about Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? You have more to say about Aaron Rodgers than I would, so I'm going to let you go first.
No. Let's start with Justin Fields because I feel like Aaron Rodgers got a lot of attention this week. Well, obviously he won. Obviously he's going to be the Hall of Famer that he is, so rightfully so. But he also got some attention because basically this was it was his revenge game. He got what he wanted, and there were some comments made after the game and whatnot. So I don't want to give him as much attention, but I will just say, I was a big advocate for having Aaron Rodgers back for the New York Jets this year. I understand why he's not. It's fine. I understand. I was hoping he would do well in Pittsburgh, and he did exactly what I thought would happen week 1. I mean, he looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, no.
I don't care. At the end of the day, he still scored 4 TDs on us. 4. 200 what? What did he have? 250 yards?
240. If he was the Jet quarterback yesterday, we still would have lost that game.
Well, obviously, because it came down to special teams and Xavier Gibson, who I have plenty of thoughts for. But,
and some bad defensive plays. We had that game.
Specifically.
Well, I mean, the Stevens, who was either getting burnt, dropping picks, or causing penalties. And he could have sealed the game. He could have sealed the game at the end of the game, and he didn't. So he had a bad game all game, and just when he could have redeemed himself, where we would have said, all right, we could breathe for another week, he just proved that he's just not the guy that we can have on that other side. That
secondary looks rough. The run
Sauce looked fantastic. He was the top-rated corner in the league.
On the secondary, it looked rough. I mean, Michael Carter
dropped it. Yeah, he dropped one as well. But I trust Michael Carter. Michael Carter because he's got the resume to back it up. Stevens' resume is basically kind of like we just saw more of it on week 1. So, and I think the safeties will get better. I think we're going to add Malachi Moore to the mix a little bit too. We're going to have to. I think he's going to get playing time. He looked great in the preseason. He's gotten a lot of good chatter in camp. I think he's going to be a guy that comes in and plays well. But Sauce, at least for the first week, started that trend of back to where he's an all-pro. Like he looked that good, and I'll say I was going to talk about somebody else, but I know we want to talk about rookies later, so I'll talk.
Who are you going to talk? No, just talk about it now. Oh, who are you going to talk about? Is it a rookie?
It's a rookie.
Okay, we'll go back.
Okay, so yes, we'll talk about that later. But but yeah, Stevens is the one who really blew that. I couldn't have seen. I couldn't if I was to predict what Fields would do week 1, game 1 of his Jet career. I wouldn't have expected it to go as well as it did other than the final score. And that wasn't his fault because he did everything in his power to win the game. That loss is not on him at all. The man scored 2 touchdowns, looked awesome in the pocket, looked like, poised in the pocket, made the right decision on running the ball, throwing the ball. You know what? People say he can't throw downfield. Well, he threw a 33-yard strike to Garrett Wilson. I thought he looked about as fantastic as you could look, commanded the offense. I even loved his response when Simpson came after Jalen Ramsey got that late hit on Fields and Simpson came over and caused that penalty. And his response to the penalty was even great, I thought, where it was like, listen, you know what? we can't be making those mistakes. But you know what? I love the fact that he stood up for me. He was sticking up for his quarterback, man. And you got to respect that. And his response to it was perfect, saying, I love the fact that you stuck up for me. But at the end of the day, man, we gotta not make any penalties. But I love the fact that you did that. And I thought his response was great. He is our quarterback now for 12 years. I'm telling you right now, Abs. I know you don't want to believe me, but I know our good.
It's not that Rudy, I don't want to believe you. I will believe it when I see it. What do you want me to believe? Something I ain't never seen?
But week one? Now was that an anomaly, or do you think this is what do you think we have our quarterback?
No, I don't.
That's a good defense over there on the other side of that field that he went up against, and he played about as good. It was probably the best Jet debut I could remember in years, as far as the quarterback is concerned. I think he's the quarterback of the Jets for years to come.
Well, I mean, I hope we solve the problem with Justin Fields. You know what I mean? But again, we have one game. We have a lot more football left to be played. And so I'm just interested to see how this continues. All I've said is I want to grow week by week. And if I see that week by week, I'm fine with that. Whether that was, I already said I feel like we're going to go 7-10. It might be a little different now because now we could probably sweep Miami. Sorry, guy.
and another thing too is the defense is going to be better. They'll fix. Listen, the same way Gibson was shown the door, Stevens is not going to be able to get away with for weeks on weeks on weeks of playing poorly and AG making excuses for him. AG is not going to make excuses for a player. We've learned that already. He's not going to sit there and make an excuse for a player. He's going to hold players accountable, which is what we haven't had in as long as I've been a Jets fan. I can't remember, maybe since Parcells. He's going to hold players accountable. Stevens better get his act together, or he will be shown the bench and we'll be bringing somebody else in. I still think that there's a good chance that we are trading for a corner before the deadline. If it shows that this is the weak spot on this team, that the offense is playing well, the defense would be playing well if we didn't have a corner getting burnt like toast every week. They're going to go out and Moogie's going to go out and get us another corner. I hate saying it us, but the Jets another corner. Aaron Glenn will not stand for it. He's shown us that already. Gibson, a lot of people didn't think he would even make the 53-man roster. I was a little iffy on it. I wanted to see what he could do in this offense, so I was willing to give it a shot. But you know what? We have a lot of guys down there on the practice squad that will come up and I think could be good. There's some that we won't go into it, but Skinner and I'm blanking on the other Pritchett that I'd love to see up here, see what they could do. We might get to see them soon because of it. But AG's not going to stand for it, man. Aaron Glenn will not stand for it. So I know that if Stevens is an issue, he won't be an issue for long.
Right. And we saw it obviously with Xavier Gibson being released from the New York Jets. I mean, I never wanted him on the roster to begin with. I was more of a Pritchett person. And it's funny, I went back to a comment. Someone was like, are we just forgetting about Xavier Gibson? I was like, I can't wait to come back to this because it was 9 fumbles going into the season. So, I mean, hey, I was very impressed with Justin Fields. I will say that. I will always say, and I've said this from the get-go, I will believe it when I see it. I've been very critical of him, which I have, and I fully can admit that. But I never said he wouldn't be successful just in general. I thought he was super talented. I just thought he probably needed to be with a franchise that's a winning organization. And so that's why I was a little hesitant when he came to the New York Jets. You know what I mean? I thought he needed to be set up better for success. And maybe he was with the O-line. Maybe that was a changing factor there. I don't know.
O-line looked great.
The O-line was great, yes. But it has, like I said, plenty of football left to be played. I'm just hoping it continues. But you best believe there's going to be a game where he doesn't look like that. And I just wonder what the reaction from fans is going to be when that happens and if it does happen. So anyways, okay. Well, we got Johnny Boy in the building. He's on the Justin Fields train. Before we move on to talking about some rookies really quickly, let's talk about the last AFC East team that we didn't really touch on, the New England Patriots. And I want to bring this up because last week I told both of you that the Raiders were going to win week 1 and you were like, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. and I was like, I'm not on the Patriots train. Okay, I've never been on it. You guys thought I was ridiculous, so I want to know, how do you guys think the Patriots looked?
It's only 1 week, like, just like I think for most of these games, it's an overreaction. With the little time that guys have to play in the preseason, week 1 is really an extension of the preseason for most of these teams anyway. You won't really see the true, essence of a team on, going on full cylinders. Maybe it's week 3 or 4. It's just the nature of the game now. And that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, they have a new coach. It's going to take time. The Raiders are improved. They have Pete Carroll, Geno Smith. They have some weapons out there on offense. Bowers is a beast, and they're not bad. The AFC West is actually a very good division. And even the worst team, the Raiders, are not bad. They're okay. Mediocre, I would say, but I don't know. The Patriots, I think as the year goes and progresses, they're going to get better as the season goes along. But, just to get on the same page, with coach and quarterback, it's going to take some time, and that's what I was going to say too, in regards to the Jets. I mean, you're happy with their progress, but at the end of the day, they lost. They're 0-1, just like the Dolphins and the Patriots. So there is some levity where, what do you consider success? Is it playing good despite losing, or is it just winning and finding a way to win? So success could look differently for different reasons, but I think the Patriots are going to be fine in the long haul. They're about 500, like we called. These games can go either way. Most games, I think.
Gene, any thoughts on the Patriots?
Yeah, look, Drake May didn't look that great. He missed some throws. I think they took maybe Vegas a little lightly. I think a lot of the league would probably have done the same, at home against Vegas. I think a lot of us had I'm sure there's a lot of people that lost their survival pool week 1 because they took the Patriots, right? So, Raiders not supposed to be that good on the road against a team that everyone thinks is going to be an upstart team this year. So, but Drake May left some stuff out there on the field, and I think they've also learned they are going to shift from Ramondre Stevenson to Trevion Henderson a little bit more. Ramondre Stevenson didn't look really that great. I think you're going to see the shift start to happen. Patriots will be better than that, and Raiders won't be as good as that. Now, will the Raiders be horrible? No, I kind of believe the same thing as Guy said. I don't think they'll be bad, but they're not great by any stretch. I think Geno Smith is a pro. He's going to play well at times, and he's going to play bad at times. But he'll play well enough to get them a handful of wins. Decent receivers. I mean, Brock Bowers, still a dynamite tight end in this league. Maybe he's probably, I could say, is it too soon to say the best tight end right now? I would say he's probably the best tight end, right?
I think so.
They got decent running game. They got a decent cast of receivers. They'll be okay. But and I believe that the Patriots will be better. But week 1, yeah, not that great.
Oh, well, it's funny, Gene. You're like, it's just 1 week, but not when it's not applicable when it applies to Justin Fields, though.
No, because there's certain things that Justin Fields did. Okay. No, here's why. No, because listen, the Patriots team, because here's my logic. The Patriots team played poorly because they were out of sync and they weren't really. They still need to find themselves. They got a young quarterback that missed some throws. You got Justin Fields that came in and made plays. There was nothing out of sync. The Steelers are the defense they've had for a while now. They made TJ Watt look like TJ Hooker. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not. That's not a joke about prostitutes. That's the old show from the '80s. If people don't know what I'm talking about, with I believe Captain Kirk. But anyway, they played a really good defense and they played them well. And so I do find it. What you're saying is, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of teams that would say, "Hey, it's 1 week," and with the Jets, it's 1 week. But the part that I say it's 1 week where things will change is the defense. I say the defense will get better. That was 1 week. We didn't even win. That'll be that defense will get better. Now there'll be times the offense won't look as good because we're going to be playing really good teams. I don't expect the offense to look dynamite. I don't expect to put 30 points up on the Bills. Do you know what I mean? Will we be stagnant? Will we score under 10? I don't think so. I don't think that either. This is the Jets had the highest rated offense in the league. I think it was Pro Football Focus had them as the highest rated offense in week 1. I don't even remember I could ever say that ever. I don't even remember the last time I could have said that. I don't even know if it even exists. I don't even know if they kept rankings back when it could have ever happened. So I think that this team is different in that sense. Now, can you say, oh, well, the Colts look great and it was only week 1? Yeah, because I don't think the Dolphins will really be as bad. I think the Dolphins will be bad this year. I don't think they're going to get blown out by halftime every week. I think they'll be better than that. And the Colts won't be blowing teams out by halftime. They'll be better. They won't be as good as that. So it just depends on the situation. And I think for the Jets offense, there was no crazy plays that made it look like they were good for a quarter or for a half or for just week 1. They played very sound, fundamental football. They got to tighten up some of those penalties. The defense has a lot to work on. But what the good part is, Abs? You know what the great part is? All those things are fixable, man. All those problems that we had on defense are fixable. Stevens is like the albatross right now. If we can fix Stevens, it's a solid defense, really solid defense. Because guess what else happened? Anyone that might want to say McDonald was a fluke last year, he stepped up right where he left off last year with with 2 sacks. Quinn Williams with a sack, the other Williams with a sack. Like the defense was buzzing and looked good, except for that corner. Because whenever Aaron Rodgers needed to get out of trouble, who did he pick on? He picked on Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens, I think, was thrown at 8 times and gave up 6 catches, something like that, or 7 times 5 catches, and gave up a big penalties, dropped interceptions. The rest of the defense will be just fine. We just got to figure out that other corner situation, and we'll be just fine on defense. And that's the part that I say that's week 1. But the offense, I think this could be our offense going forward.
I mean, I hope so. It looked like Tanner Engstrand and Justin Fields been working together for like 10 years already.
How good did they look together? Just in sync. In sync.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about one former New York Jet and then another former New York Giant. So let's can I give guys boy Shaq over here? Yeah.
A thumbs up. McDonald, the guy we wanted to draft that year was Broderick Jones. We couldn't get him, so we settled for McDonald the 4th. And what did he do? That's right. He got right past Broderick Jones. And listen, it's going to end up being a blessing in disguise that we got screwed over by the Patriots over Broderick Jones. It's going to end up being a blessing.
Yep. I agree. All right. And Johnny Boy says, Jets defense had a lack of communication between the LBs and DBs. We should have had 4 turnovers, but the ball never goes our way. Right. That catch with, I think it made like the top 10 plays or whatever. The catch with DK that would never happen for the New York Jets. That little bounce that would do.
But that's what I'm saying too. And that's what I was kind of talking about. That's a chemistry thing. And that will work itself out. If they work hard, Aaron Glenn will be on top of them. Those are things about being out of communication and a sync. Those are things that chemistry fixes. And what's some of the things that help chemistry, right? Winning helps chemistry. And having a coaching staff that's taking the time to really put and invest and hold everyone accountable, that's going to help build chemistry. So I really think those are things that can be fixed going from week to week to week.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about some former New York Jets and Giants. Let's talk about Sam Darnold. Let's talk about Danny Jones. I mean, we can even talk about Geno. I mean, he's with the new team. So let's start with Danny Jones. Do we think his career is revived now that he is
Lamar Davis likes to fuck with me every Wednesday night. He has a bad day and he goes, you know what? I'm just going to bully Gene. And here's the thing. I'm not happy about a loss. I'm happy about how my quarterback played. That's I was upset because we even said at the beginning of the show, Abs, right? And Lamar might not have been here because we hadn't seen him until just now. What did we say? We lost in typical Jet fashion. It was a bummer. But what I am happy about is seeing that I feel confident that what I've been saying all offseason was correct. I think Justin Fields is our guy. I feel confident about that. And that's why I'm happy, because it's nice to know that we may have a quarterback now for the foreseeable future. And that's what it is. But I was sick to my stomach with the loss. When I seen Boswell kick that 60-yarder, I wondered.
That was insane. Did you have him for fantasy, guy?
Yep. You know that's my kicker, bro.
See, does his ass thoughts with cleats to wear. Danny Dimes look like Joe Montana against the Finns. I am sorry, guys. So let's get back to Danny Dimes really quickly. I mean, did he revive his career? Is he going to pull like a Sam Darnold?
Or Justin Fields?
No. It was just almost like the perfect storm. It's a perfect opponent, week one. You know, you're not getting the best from the opposition. So you are in a perfect, situation to just shine, really. I mean, he really didn't have to do much. There was no pressure on him all game. You know, when you have time to throw and just, I don't know, think back there, there was just a lot of meditation going on behind the offensive line. Like he was never in duress, so I want to see him face some adversity first before I could say that he's like revived his career. He definitely has some attributes that are talented. Like he's a very good athlete. He can run the ball.
He's fast.
Yeah, he's fast, but his decision making has a lot to be desired, as we've seen in the past. But he wasn't tested this past week, so it's too early to say if he's revived himself here. But after seeing him closely for the first few years of his career, I think this is fool's gold. This is an anomaly.
Well, and that division is not very tough.
No.
Overall, in my opinion. So I don't know if he's ever really going to get tested the way we actually want him to. Does that make sense?
It does, but the Dolphins really didn't compete in that game. They just didn't have their heart in it. At least the other teams will show up, I think, for a divisional game. At least that's my logic going into it. So, like, at least Tennessee showed some fight in their game against Denver, right? Or even Houston or Jacksonville. I think they'll take those games a little more serious. And when the Colts play other teams that are not going with what the Dolphins are going through, especially getting them on the first week, like the most overrated week a lot of times statistically is that first week. You see a lot of like things that you won't see happen the rest of the year. So that's why you just got to take it with a grain of salt. If he's still showing us, just like you said about Justin Fields, that he can sustain this level of play, then I'll say absolutely this guy revived his career and, the Colts got a diamond in the rough. But I still need to see a lot more from this guy.
Well, I was looking right now to see who the Colts play this weekend, and they are facing the Denver Broncos. So
it's gonna be a tough defense. So
one of the best defenses.
There you go.
And I have Broncos defense for fantasy, so if they can light that shit up, that'll be just.
This will be this. This is a great measuring stick for Daniel Jones if he can do remotely. And Johnny Boy said pull the stats, so I did just pull the stats. If I could just now pull them back up. 22 of 29, 272, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, took only 1 sack. Rating was 115.9, so almost 116. On the ground, 7 carries, 26 yards, 2 TDs. He had the type of game that comeback player of the year Justin Fields, future comeback player Justin Fields had. So, listen, but again, that was like Guy said, that was against a Dolphin team that obviously was not playing at its best. And it was one of those games too, where when you don't have a coach that holds the team accountable, which is what we're all kind of getting to right with McDaniel. Decent losses become bad losses. Bad losses become horrible losses. And this went from being just a loss to a bad loss to a horrible loss by the second quarter. It just snowballed, right? And that's what's going to happen when you don't have a guy that can command the team on the sideline. Your losses are going to be magnified. And that could really be what happened is Daniel Jones just took advantage of a team kind of crumbling because the leadership wasn't there,
Well, I don't like the spread already because it's only Broncos by 1.5. So
where is it? Is it in Indy or is it in Denver?
It's in Indy.
Yeah, that's a low spread still. I still take Denver, I think, is going to take this one and
yeah.
I think you're looking at definitely, it's probably going to sway because what they would say that the home team is automatically given 3 points. Yeah. So in Denver, this would be a 4.5 spread. In Denver, I probably take them with a touchdown spread. Mm-hmm. So I think this should at least be a Denver field goal spread in Indy.
So, Gene, do you want to answer your favorite fans' question right here? Why didn't Fields run for the first down instead of throwing to Wilson on 4th down and kick the field goal?
It's a good question. I think maybe he should have, but I also thought maybe he thought he could get it to him and he could maybe take it outside and get to the and get to the sticks. I'm sorry, not the sticks, to the sideline and get out of bounds. They're only working with one timeout.
I got to rewatch it, but it kind of looked like I still think he would have had the first down, but it looked like
he did have it. Oh, you're talking about if you ran it, you're saying?
Yeah, if he ran it, but it looked like there were 3 defenders in that area too.
He probably still would have the first down, but he wouldn't have been as far as Garrett Wilson would have been. Garrett Wilson, maybe he thinks Garrett Wilson can make a juke and step out of bounds, stop the clock. So I don't blame him for not running it. I think here's the thing: if he does run it, gets the first down, but gets stopped and the clock is ticking, and now they got to waste that time out there. People are gonna say, "Well, why did he throw it to Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson could have just gotten, could have caught it quick and stepped out of bounds." It's Monday morning quarterback. I think that people would have complained the other way around too.
Well, and honestly, you can't blame Garrett Wilson. I mean, Ramsey just made a hell of a play.
There you go.
He did. That's and you know what?
And I've seen Garrett Wilson make that play plenty of times, which is why I said he should have had it. But I mean, those two were chippy all game. It was entertaining. There was a lot of chippiness in the entire game.
I love the fact that by the end of that game, though, they were
hugging.
They gave us they said, they good gamed each other, and that just shows you that they're just competitive. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? 10 times on that play, 10 times, I'd say probably 5 times he holds on to it. 5 times Jalen Ramsey rips it away. It was a great play by Ramsey. It would have been I don't blame him for dropping it. He got smacked up. And again, I think half the time he probably catches that pass.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I've seen him plenty of times make that catch. So it's the way that things go. You know what I mean? It's fine.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, Abs.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm trying to move on. I knew this is the last day I'm going to talk about the Jets loss because I'm like, all right, we've had 4 days of it pretty much. We're moving on to Buffalo at this point. Wilson was faking Ramsey all game. He was for the most part.
With 7 catches, 90-something yards. Mm-hmm. He kind of did what he needed to do, but you know what? At the end of the day, Ramsey had the left, right? He ended the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's move on to another quarterback who's with a new team, and that is good old Sammy Whammy, Sam Darnold, out with the Seattle Seahawks now. Looks like he was 16 for 23, 150 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, 1 sack. And the final score there was a tight one with a chance to win it. They did. But 17-13, losing against the 49ers. What are you guys thinking of Sam Darnold? How do you think he's going to perform out in Seattle?
It's gonna be a tough place to play. Everybody looks great in a dome, right? It's a lot easier to play quarterback in a dome. Now he's playing in Seattle, which is it's gonna be he's gonna get some bad weather out there, right? He does have some talent at the wide receiver spot, but he came from a place where he had about as much talent at wide receiver as you could actually possibly have. I think he's gonna have a little bit of a comeuppance in Seattle, but I think he'll play okay. He's not. I think at the end of the season they're gonna think they overpaid him. I think that's fair to say, right? I think he'll be decent, but I think you're gonna look at it by the end of the season. You're gonna look at his stats. You're gonna look at the number of wins they have, and you're gonna say we overpaid for this guy. He had one great year in Minnesota. I think he needs probably another weapon or two to help him out.
But right now he doesn't, because I got JSN in fantasy, so I'm like, keep feeding him the ball.
But and I get you, but he's going to need as
it for the team, yeah. But honestly, a strong showing against a tough 49ers team. I'll be honest. I thought it was a decent showing. I mean, to keep the 49ers to 17 points. So
yeah, but that was more that was the defense, not Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think he's going to be what he was in Minnesota last year. But I also don't think he'll be what he was with the Jets either.
Guy.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, like last year he benefited from a great quarterback coach. O'Connell has a track record of having good quarterback play. Sam Darnold definitely benefited from it and cashed in with the Seahawks. And I'm not mad at him getting his money, but I do think that Seattle did overpay. But, his numbers, it looked like he played it safe. It was a tough divisional game. He didn't really take any chances like that all game. The 49ers were dealing with some injuries on the offensive side of the ball. Kittle got hurt. McCaffrey is still dealing with McCaffrey issues. So, the game looked a lot uglier than maybe it could have been. But it's a divisional game. Those two teams always play each other hard. I don't know. I think Sam Darnold, like Gene said, is not going to be as good as last year, obviously, but he won't be as bad as when he was with the Jets.
Johnny Boy, I don't know if you're saying because he used to be a Jet, but like they didn't cross paths with the Jets, so I don't know if you're just saying in general, like because he studied him a lot, but as far as being his coach, they never crossed paths in that sense.
Johnny Boy, would you take Darnold or Tua, and why?
I would probably take Darnold, which might be an unpopular opinion, but I would take Darnold probably.
I mean, I think availability would be the best trait here. So, like, unless you know what it is to have like Tua as your quarterback, I'd rather have a guy like Darnold that shows up every week and I kind of know what I'm getting from him, and then I could actually manage my expectations. With Tua is too much up and down, peaks and valleys. We're not too far removed from dropping 70 on the Broncos, to whatever last week was. So there's the very, very good, and then there's like the very, very bad. I think consistency is why I lean towards Darnold.
Well, and Guy, you went exactly where my mind went. I'm like, who's going to be available? And Darnold's always going to do enough. He's a game manager. You know what I mean? So you already know his limit and kind of potential with him. So you can kind of go from there. So I'm obviously saying Darnold too, but obviously Johnny Boy's just pushing your buttons a little bit. But all right. We got 50 people in the building. Wow. We appreciate you joining us. So more NFL talk. A lot of rookies made their debut this week. So very exciting. So Guy, I want to start with you. Any rookie you were particularly impressed with this week?
Yeah, and it might come to as a surprise, but I am pretty impressed by Tyler Warren from the Colts. I think even though that game was, a disaster, I thought as a rookie he showed out pretty well, and Danny Dimes is going to need that security blanket. So, as a running quarterback, play action is going to be very, very important. I know Michael Pittman is going to be used a lot, but if he's locked down, I could see Warren really stepping up and being one of the better tight ends in the league already year one. It's not like we haven't seen that before, where a tight end comes in and makes a big impact. I'm not saying he's Brock Bowers by any stretch, but he's in a pretty good situation, and if he gives you contributions like that week in, week out, they hit a pretty nice home run on that pick.
Yeah, I had him on my bench this week, and I think he scored more points than my main tight end, which was McBride for the Cardinals. So, yeah.
That's a nice tandem to have, though. That's a nice tandem to have.
Gene.
So I wanted to say this. I do want to say Tyler Warren looked outstanding. I feel like, so you remember for years, and maybe Abby, you wouldn't be able to answer this because you haven't played fantasy for so long, but Guy, I know you could probably agree with me. It seems like the top two tight ends, 1 and 2, for years was Kelsey and Kittle, right, for years. I think we now have that next generation of Bowers, Warren. Those are going to be the two guys who's going to get either picked 1 or 2 for the next probably 5-6 years at tight end. Warren's the real deal. I think we had to know coming into the season he was probably going to be the real deal, but we really needed to see it. And he was every bit the part. Again, week 1, but I'll tell you what, I loved what he did. I loved watching him, and I think we do have a star on our hands in Indianapolis. He's going to make Danny Jones better. Let's just say what it is. He's going to make Danny Jones better. He's the perfect for Danny Jones. The guy I'm going to go with, though, I got 2 answers. Can I start by saying that? I'm going to go with 2 answers. Abby, I think you're going to want, like I said, Abs. I think you're going to love one of them. Now, you either can go playmaker, or we could just say who the best rookie to play week 1 was in any position. But I'm going to go by playmaker first. Egbuka looked like every bit of star that we heard about in camp and in preseason. Only 4 catches for 60-something yards, so modest numbers in that sense, but 2 big touchdown catches.
A game-winning one.
And a game-winning one. Baker and Mayfield and him are going to be so fun to watch. I'm gonna be able to watch every minute. You know what? They're my number 2 team, as we have stated before, because now I am down here in Orlando. Got tickets to the Tampa Bay. First game I'm going to go see is against the Jets. The only game I'm going to be able to go and not root for them is going to be that first game that I'm going to see in week 3. It'll be the Jets. Obviously, I'll be rooting for the Jets. I'll have the Joe Namath jersey on. But after that, every week I'm going to be going over there and watching Egbuka, a stud at wide receiver. I got to get my Egbuka jersey. I already got my Mike Evans jersey. Now I got to get the Egbuka jersey. He switched from 9 to 2. And you know what? I want to shout out the Bucs for this. The Bucs have said when he first got drafted, he was number 9. And then the week before the first game, he switched to number 2. It was his number in college. He was able to switch it. And the Bucs said, you know what? For anybody out that bought a number 9 Egbuka jersey, you can return it in and we'll get you the number 2 jersey. That's awesome. That's awesome for the fans. I don't know if every team would ever really do that. You never really see that. I've never seen it before. If it's ever happened before, I've never heard of it. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So kudos to the Bucs for that. But if you want to talk about the best rookie week 1, I know you're smiling because I know you know what I'm going to say.
You're going to say my answer?
Oh, was it yours?
I think so. Let's see.
Should we say it at the same time? We'll count to 3 and say it at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, just say the last name.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Membu.
You
didn't say it at the same time. Membu. He was the best. Not was he only just the best rookie start week 1. He was the best offensive lineman to play week 1.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute stud. And listen, he wasn't going against some scrubs. He wasn't going just against a good defense. He was going against a perennial potential defensive player of the year candidate in TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I say before they made him look like? They made him look like TJ Hooker from the TV show from the 80s. Amon Membu. Listen, that Jets offensive line, even with the injury to AVT, how good have you ever seen the Jet offensive line look that good, Abby?
No, I haven't in a long time.
I can't even. I'm watching it. I'm almost forgetting that I felt like we were watching 7-on-7 drills at times.
I almost forgot we were playing like TJ Watt because he was completely non-existent to me.
He was non-existent. Non-existent. Listen, he got some tackles for loss and stuff. Don't get me wrong. He did not make any pressures on the quarterback. Actually, I think he had like one or two, but it wasn't against Membu.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the other side when that happened. And you know what? Listen, the offensive line looked absolutely amazing. I think they had one sack. I think it was Highsmith.
Mm-hmm.
But Membu, man, if people were saying, "Oh, I wish we would have gotten a receiver," let me tell you something. You fix it from the outside, from the inside out, and that offensive line is going to be a strength for years. And we have two bookend tackles that could potentially be Pro Bowl bookend tackles, maybe even All Pro bookend tackles for years to come. Membu, to me, was the best rookie to play week 1.
He was holding his own. 0 sacks allowed, 0 quarterback hits allowed, 0 pressures, and 0 hurries. And it sucks because he won't get really that recognized because it's one of those quiet positions. You know what I mean? But the thing is, if you didn't hear about him, that means he did his job. That means he absolutely did his job. And if Justin Fields had the game he did, you got to attribute that to the O-line, which I said in my whole video this week. That O-line looked fantastic, and they deserve a hell of a lot of credit. And Johnny Boy's comment deserves a lot of credit too, because Guy's face looks extremely salty, like he's in shock.
I'm just it doesn't surprise me that Jets fans are gushing over a loss.
We're not gushing over a loss.
I never seen a fan base so happy to lose. Like, I get it. There's a lot of positives. But at the end of the day, you are what your record is.
Yes, and there's no moral victories. I'm on board with saying that. What I said I'm happy with is I saw my quarterback play, and I said, that's my quarterback for the next 12 years. And Lamar, I get it, man. I get it. Like, I'm not giddy because we lost only by 2 points to the Steelers. I thought we were going to win the game, right? I'm on record saying I thought that was going to be a win. So, yeah, anytime you lose, I'm upset. But the offense looked so good that I'm giddy about the offense. I'm happy about the offense. The things that we didn't do good in week 1, I looked at and I said, that's fixable. It wasn't like we got ran all over the building. It wasn't like everybody was like horrendous. It really stemmed from only a couple of players that gave up the big plays. It took a fumble on a kickoff return, right? It took a cornerback is playing so poorly that I think he forgot what locker room he had to go to after the game, or maybe somebody. I'm only joking, so I shouldn't even say it. But somebody threw him a couple bucks to throw the game, and obviously I don't mean that. I'm joking, but that's how bad he was. That's how horrible he was. We've already fixed the kick return issue, and we'll see if it works. I mean, we made a change. The things that we didn't do good on defense that cost us to lose the game are 100% fixable. Okay, it wasn't like they were just inept. So I'm giddy because I said, hey, all right, we took a loss there. Sometimes you got to take a step back to take 3 steps forward. And I feel like that's what's happening.
But first of all, I'm on the record for already saying this would be a loss, okay? So, but I said I fully believe we will beat Buffalo this coming up Sunday.
Johnny.
I'm still on board the train, and I cannot wait when we hit that dub. I can't wait to hear everybody. Y'all better be apologizing to me.
I'm not. I'm. Here's my one question. Does he, and if he does, how many rushing touchdowns for Justin Fields
on Sunday? Well,
Sunday.
Buffalo's. I know they were playing like arguably the best running back in the game in Derrick Henry, but I mean, Breece Hall ain't no scrub. He looked like rookie Breece Hall on Sunday.
He did.
We still got Braylon Allen and Justin Fields. I think he at least has 2. And honestly, Buffalo's run defense their defense really doesn't look that great. It doesn't scare me. If we play that way against Pittsburgh, who's arguably the better defense, a top 10 defense, I'm not worried about Buffalo. Again, their run defense looks bad.
But that offense is way better than Pittsburgh's.
And that I know. And I already know, too, that the New York Jets, last year was an anomaly, but we always play Buffalo tough. We do. We were splitting with them, minus last year. And that first game, I will tell you, we had a head coaching change. It was Ulbrich in. It was the first week back. We lost by 3 points. And we had a worse offense. And that game, honestly, I don't know if you remember that game, Gene. It was like flag on both teams. They couldn't get any rhythm.
I do want to say this to Johnny Boy, just because he might have missed us. We actually did. We talked about Michael Carter having a bad game. Mm-hmm. But we also know that we feel like, and I know I said this, so I don't want to speak for Abby. I feel like you agree, though. We know Michael Carter's pedigree and his reputation and his resume. We do think he'll be better than he was last Sunday. We're going to chalk it up to, hey, everybody has a bad game sometimes. That was a bad game. Mm-hmm. I think he's a better player than that, so I expect him to be fully, way better than he was last week. This week coming up, I think he'll be better. So we did talk about it. I just want to put that point out there.
I feel like the way I am with this offense is I was just genuinely shocked in a good way for once. And I'm not going to get I'm a little jaded, I'll admit, but I'm not going to get overly hyped, but I'm not going to be all like, oh, we're just going to be dead last in the division and I think I already predicted 7-10, which I thought was reasonable. And I already said, I just want to be competitive. So I didn't. Was the last time the Jets beat the Bills?
I thought we beat them last year.
No, we got swept by them last year.
Okay, then
that second time we faced them, that was the blowout. It was 30.
Yeah, but the game before that was a close. Then the game before that was close.
It was like 23-20. It was like 23-20. So, but yes, so back in 2023, yes, we won that first one, lost the second one, so we split. And then last year we got swept. But even I think before that, we had the year before, looking at 2022, I think we had split as well. Go ahead and fact check me, Lamar, since he's out here researching all these stats. Apparently, we got 50 people in the building.
We need a research. We could hire a researcher for obviously it's a free role. But if you want to be our researcher, go right ahead, bro.
Right. All right. Let's move on a little bit. I mean, everything's gonna feel like football a little bit. But how are you guys feeling going into week 2? Who does Miami faces Patriots, if I'm correct?
Yep.
Okay, and then obviously Jets got the Bills. I think the Bills are favored by 7. What's the spread for Guy? Do you know off the top of your head the spread for the Miami Patriots game?
I do not.
I can get it. I can get it. You got it?
Miami by 1.5.
And it's in New England, right?
It's in Miami.
It's in Miami?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's interesting that the league has turned around so hard on the Patriots. Like the league was like the Patriots, I feel like was like one of the darlings of the offseason. Did it seem that way? At least I feel like the chatter made it feel that way. With Drake May being this up and coming stud, Vrabel being there. I don't see any reason to think that they're going to be bad going forward.
But I mean, you don't really win games in the off season.
I agree with you, but there was a lot of talk about how they were going to be this, the surprise team, and a lot of people have really bounced back, have come off that, and I must have been like, I didn't say that, but
I haven't even written them on, let alone written them off.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people kind of put them there, and I still think they're going to be decent. I still think they come in second place. I'm sorry, third place. No, second place. I don't know. Second place.
Did you guys both have Miami winning against the Patriots? I did not.
I did.
I'll tell you what I had. I can tell you right now because I have it all written down on my thing. Every team.
Don't make me get up and get my notebook because I wrote down every single thing that you guys said.
I'll tell you right now what I have.
A guy saying, what is it, 11-6?
I have them winning in Miami.
But I also said if everything was if Tua was healthy,
Tua is healthy.
Is he?
Mentally, maybe no.
He's got to be
and spiritually, no.
CTE's got to be, going on in his brain. At least I think so. I don't think he's all there, to be honest with you. And I actually worry for his health.
Agreed.
I mean, I think we all are, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I do have Miami losing.
Yeah, and I had Miami losing week 2.
We usually match up well against the Patriots.
You do actually.
So that's why I think Vegas has us favored. Albeit what 1.5 you said. It's still something, even though take into account last week's performance. That still shows something about that they haven't written off Miami yet.
And then Gene, Buffalo is favored by 7 against the Jets. I feel like that's a lot.
A lot.
That's in MetLife.
Yeah, it's
in MetLife Stadium. I'd probably take the Jets. I don't know if I take. I don't listen. I have them losing to the Bills. Right? But I could see them, 27-24 kind of a deal. I could see them making it a ball game and losing by a field goal.
Gene sees us going 0-2, don't you, Gene? Or sorry, Guy sees us going 0-2.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you, I have us, to be honest with you, because of the Steelers loss, I have us starting out 0-3 now. Because I had us winning that game and then losing the next 2. I do think we lose in Tampa. So, I mean, that's tough. Those are 3 tough games. Steelers, Bills, Bucs. We may start out 0-3. I had us
1-2.
I had us 1-2 as well, but because we were going to beat Steelers. So if the rest of my stuff is right, then we're 0-3. And that's tough, but again, I don't put that on any, as long as no moral victories, right? Because you're at the end of the day, your record is what it says you are. And to build a winning culture, you got to win games. But that's a tough 3-game stretch for anybody to have to go through.
All right, before we move on, put up Johnny Boy's question.
This one here?
Yeah, thoughts for Guy. Thoughts on the rival jerseys. Johnny Boy doesn't like the Jets one at all.
I actually love it. I love it. I've always been on record as saying I think we shouldn't even be green. We are green because Leon Hess, I think, owned the team, and it's Hess gas, and I hate the fact that they're green. I wish they can go back to the I wish we could go back to the old Titans jerseys, the navy blue, the dark blue, and the mustard yellow, and that we wore the Brett Favre year. I wish we still had those. I thought when they were going to do a redesign, I thought they should have came out with what is a jet? A jet is like battleship gray. I thought we should have came up with something like a battleship gray, something that means jet, like a jet, not like a green, Christmas fire truck, S truck. But so I really wanted that when they came out with those, not this version here, because if there's a version I like of the jet uniforms for a while now, it's this one. But when we came up with those clown ones that had the jet with the football on the side and the New York across the chest, they were absolutely 100% horrendous. Anybody who liked those, please explain to me what drugs you do, because you're on something really phenomenal to think those were even look good. Maybe you took a couple of ayahuasca retreats with that bum Aaron Rodgers, but
that bum that freaking scored 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that bum?
Winner,
that Hall of Fame. Future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a loser. He's a loser. Okay. Ultimate me first guy.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers has a message for you. He's happy to be anyone associated with the New York Jets.
Well, you know what? We'll see when it comes to we'll see.
Amen.
We'll see what he's saying when we host him Wild Card Weekend.
I would love to see that.
Listen, if we are lucky enough to get to the playoffs, and they are lucky enough to get to the playoffs, and we play them in the playoffs, I am 100% confident that we beat them this time.
Look, I'm not pro Aaron Rodgers, okay? Like those comments are in my head. I'm like, what do you expect from him? He's just an ass. Like, I don't know why people.
I don't even care about that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people are getting their panties in a wad like about it. I was like, what do you expect from the guy? You already know he's a jerk. I've been on record saying that. I'm not saying he's a likable guy by any means, but like, I'm sorry when he feels like we did him dirty. I don't think we did him as dirty as he says we did, but I understand why he feels that way because he flew out on his own dime. Let's talk about it. He flew out on his own dime over there, got about a 10-minute conversation, which was essentially a big F you, and then he had to go on. So I understand why he feels the way that he does and why he made those comments. Again, for him, this was his revenge game. Let him have it if you don't care.
Can I say one thing?
About Aaron Rodgers?
I love how they let him go. I think they said, you know what? You want to play so many games. Because here's the thing. He can't complain about his time with the Jets as far as they let him run. They let him run the organization. Any player he wanted, no matter how over the hill or how bad they were, we brought them in. We let him. We brought in the worst offensive coordinator you could imagine to make him happy. And I've always said he's the ultimate me first guy. I wish I could have been in the room where they had him come in and then him talk about how he was looking forward to coming back. And then like, oh yeah, by the way, Aaron, we're going to go another direction. Thank you for coming in. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. I wish I could have been the one to sit there and say, Aaron, no, let me let him know. Let me tell him. And I could have told him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it would have been so gratifying to basically, we're going to go another direction. But thanks for coming in. Oh, make sure your parking gets validated on the way out. I would have loved to be there. I'm so glad. I didn't like him when he came here. When he got here, I had to support the laundry. So I did. I'm a Jet fan, so of course I'm going to support my quarterback, my team. But I didn't really like him. And listen, he's a me first guy. I did. There's not one to me personally. There's not one redeeming quality. There's not. There's not.
Not even his ayahuasca journey. That's very spiritual.
Can
we present Guy as Aaron and Gene as AG and role play how it
went let's do
it.
Hey, I still win at the end though, right?
Well, I mean, week one.
I could come
All
back.
right, let's do this really quickly because this is entertaining. All right.
Aaron, thanks for coming in. We're glad to see you. It's been a nice offseason. How you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. The pleasure's all yours.
That sounds like the Aaron. That's exactly what I knew he would say. You've acted before, haven't you, Guy? You've acted before. Okay. So, what do you think you could lead this team next year?
Absolutely, I'm the best quarterback in the league.
This is gonna be difficult. Listen, Aaron, thanks for flying across the country, but we're gonna go in a different direction. So it's nice to see you. Have a fantastic spring, and yeah, kick rocks, bitch.
Okay.
Oh,
Just wait, because I'm gonna put cases on all you bitches.
Pelican Bay
It got shit on me
for a week.
for a week.
For a week.
That has to have been the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
I can only imagine. Aaron Glenn probably walked out of that room after that meeting. Was like, oh, that's so good. Listen,
I think you actually said it better than Aaron Glenn.
I loved it.
I think you said, "How you doing? Thanks for coming. We're moving in a different direction."
But thanks for coming in. Oh, it would have been so great. But let me tell you something. I always call him a me first guy. You know what? I realized this has nothing to do with football, but just something funny. Hold on. I'm getting yelled at. I have to lower my voice. Okay. I have a friend who I call me first all the time because I always joke around. I tell him he's a me first guy. So I have in my phone me first instead of his real name. So I go to call him the other day and I say, Siri, call Rob. And it doesn't come up because I don't have anybody with it. Or, Rob, in his last name. That guy's not on my phone. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I changed it. Call me first. You know what Siri said to me? Don't
What?
worry. Don't worry. I'll call you first next time. No, so now I can't even call this guy with Siri. I actually have to pick it up and dial.
Damn.
But anyway,
I mean,
that Me First is certified Rob from the Rookies of the Year on Monday afternoons. Just if anybody asks who Me First is, I have certified Rob as Me First.
I mean, obviously the Jets fans, when he came out, they booed him. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, on the way out, he was taunting them too. He was like,
"Sure."
And I mean, like I said, he got the last laugh. I understand why he's not here, and now that he's not here, I understand kind of the toxicity that was around the locker room, and it wasn't gonna mesh. You know what I mean? So even if he stayed, I think it wouldn't have meshed anyways, and it would just been more chaos. That's why I'm like, and finally he's gone. I wish him the best in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? And for me, I wanted Aaron Rodgers here. It didn't work out. And that's all you can do. No one would have, I couldn't have even thought in a million years that he would tear his Achilles 4 plays in to the 2023 season. That there's no script writer that could have ever written that in. And then obviously coming back, we did give him everything though that he asked for. Still didn't work out.
You know, I never really wish harm on anybody, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want him to rip his Achilles every day of the year.
Oh my God.
For the rest of his life. I just dislike the guy. He's just not a likable guy. Loser.
All right.
Wait, you know, and Johnny Boy makes a good point. He should have been picked off twice in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
No, 100%. That's on us, right? Like, you know, but his end of the day stats might have been more like 2-2 instead of 4-0.
At least you got the moral victory, right, Gene?
Nope, it's not a moral victory. I'm not happy about the moral victory. I don't believe in moral victories. I'm not happy about the loss. What I'm happy about is finding a quarterback. He looked better in week 1 than any start you could say Aaron Rodgers had.
True.
I mean, if there's a game that I'm not remembering, somebody please remind me. But obviously the first season there was none. And then remind me if there was a game last year where he looked better than Justin Fields. And
coming off of the Achilles injury, though, I think they kept it easy with him probably like the first 4 to 6 games, to be honest. They weren't going full pedal to the metal. Or metal. Did I say that right?
I don't. The pedal to the metal.
Yeah, pedal to the metal. I want to go back really quickly because this all stemmed from talking about the jerseys.
Oh yeah,
I have some thoughts on those jerseys. So Gene, I think you already said you don't like this. Would stem from you didn't like the green.
Well, I like the jerseys we have now, but I'm not a big fan of the color scheme of green and white. I'd much prefer like a battleship gray, like what a plane and a jet really the color is. But you know, but I do like the jerseys we have now. But I do love our rivalry jersey.
And then, Guy, how do you feel about the rivalry jerseys?
I think the Dolphins one's not bad. I think generally our colors are good or nice, but Dolphins with all black is kind of you know, but I know that's going to be used for an away game anyway, I think. So I think if you're going to use the all black, just go with the Miami Vice colors. Do like that was it light blue and pink kind of thing, like how the Miami Heat did for their alternates a few years ago. Just to change it up a little bit, you know. The aqua and coral do look better on white than they do black, but I'm not mad at it though. But I do think the best rivalry jerseys actually are the Buffalo Bills ones.
They're pretty sweet.
I'm glad you pointed that out because there's 3 that I really like. I like the Buffalo Bills. I think the Patriots actually have some nice ones. I think the Rams ones are pretty nice too, though. And then I see the vision they were having with the Cardinals. It just didn't turn out like how I think they were expecting. It looks someone said it looks like a tortilla, and now I can't unsee it.
100%. Like, I get what they were trying to do. Like, it has like it's supposed to be like a sandstorm kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
and the Diamondbacks have something like that. It's the serpientes, like the sand colored ones, and I think they were trying to do something like that. It just does not look good.
You know what I would like to see a lot of the teams do? I would love to see the teams, and also in football, have a day where they all kind of swap colors, do an alternate, like the LA team doing like all the teams, if they're the baseball team in their city, the baseball team and the football team do like an alternate jersey day where they wear the opposite, the baseball team's colors, whereas the football team's colors, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. They should do that on a day where, they should just do it.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. Yankees could wear like the New York Giants colors. The Jets could wear the Mets colors.
I think honorable mention. I think the 49ers have pretty nice ones too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the font.
The way font is cool.
The font, the way the gold pops on the black is pretty nice.
I didn't even mention though. I have never talked about it, which I'm surprising. It's surprising a little bit. I do not like the New York Jets rivalry jerseys. I don't think there's anything that creative about them. They just look gray. Sure, I like some of the details, like on the sleeves, and maybe I like the Gotham City lettering. But otherwise, I know the jerseys, I think, went on sale today. I'm not planning on buying one. I don't really care for them. It just looks.
You know what it is? I probably won't, because for all I know, we'll never use those jerseys ever again, and then it'll just be like, it'll be weird. Like, I would get an alternate. Like, I bought, like speaking of like the old New York Titans uniforms with the blue and yellow. I actually have that because they wore those for a few years. I wish they'd bring that back, but I don't know if this is gonna be something they're gonna wear year after year. So I don't want a jersey that they wore once in their whole history. Like the Bucs. I'm going to get myself a creamsicle jersey because I know every year they're going to wear creamsicle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like I think I'm going to go creamsicle, either Egbuka or Baker. But yeah, I won't buy the jersey for that reason. But I do like it. I want to go right. I do like them.
I just don't think it goes well with anything either, like styling it wise. I just feel like we already have they should have done something more with a green. I don't know where I don't see the vision really with what they were doing and the gray. It just looks dull. It looks very dull to me. They could have done something more green and had it be a little more exciting.
I thought Basura was good. Isn't that like a dance? Isn't it like a salsa? Yeah, isn't that like a salsa?
No, that means trash in Espanol.
I thought that was a dance.
Bachata?
Maybe that's what. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway,
that's funny.
It's good that you straightened that out, because I would have been into work tomorrow saying, "Yo, this straight basura, man. I love it."
But at the same time, too, let me talk about it when it comes to the New York Jets and jerseys. We get new jerseys like every year, and I'm like, okay, how many more do we need to have? Like, and I saw someone write under the comments, "Is this going to help us win games?" Like, a lot of the comments were that, and that's why I'm just maybe not as excited either, because we always have something new with the jerseys, and I do like that, but at the same time, that's the only thing we can really be excited about. Let's get excited about winning some football games.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not that impressed by them. I'm like, it's just another jersey to me.
I agree.
Could have been a lot better.
Right. The vision, I don't see really the vision. Some of the details are great, but it all coming together does not look great as a whole. Pieces of it look great.
Let me ask you a question. If they said, "Hey, we're getting new jerseys this year. We're going to get a whole new design," and that was what it was, not just as a rivalry jersey, not as a one-time jersey, but that's our new uniforms, would you be upset?
Those Gotham City ones?
Yeah.
Yes, then I don't know if I would ever purchase one. I mean, the best jerseys are like the old school ones that Mark Sanchez used to wear.
Yeah,
that is my favorite jersey by far. And I have the legacy white jersey, but I mainly only got that because they were new and I wanted Garrett Wilson. That is literally the only reason. I didn't want black. I didn't want green because I already have one. And so I was kind of left with the white option.
What's the next jersey?
That's what I'm saying. My jerseys are so outdated. That's how much I'm hanging on to that Jets logo on the white helmet. Like it just.
What's your next Jet jersey purchase?
That's what's hard. You know what? I would like a Jermaine Johnson one, but he obviously hasn't been signed to a contract. And if he does, I may get it. At this point, I should probably just get a Sauce Gardner jersey with I think the one looks nice. I kind of want a black one though. I really want a black one.
I think I'm going to go. Now I need to wait a little bit longer because I need to make sure I think he will be. But I want to.
I'm gonna get a Justin Fields one.
The green one. The green number 7.
I mean, I think I honestly, sometimes I look at the aesthetics of it all too. The 7 does look nice. His jersey does look nice. I saw people wearing it at the game. I think aesthetically it looked. It looked great like that. Yeah, the little airplane.
Yeah, man.
I could just honestly get an updated Garrett Wilson jersey and get a number 5.
My son has that one. I don't know if he has the white or the green, but he has the Garrett Wilson with the new. I
have 17, so I could just upgrade to the 5. But I'm holding off on all of that. One thing at a time. All right. Before I Johnny Boy Abs, you know you want the Justin Fields one. No. Again, I'm holding on to Mark Sanchez like for dear life.
It's a throwback now.
The other day that slightly mentioned Mark Sanchez, and I'm like, I will not accept any Mark Sanchez slander.
You see the new show he's got, right?
Was that the clip that I saw?
I don't know if you saw a clip. It's kind of like a take on, from what I understand, as I didn't see any clips, but from what I understand, it's kind of like a take on Jerry Seinfeld's riding in cars with comedians getting coffee.
I did see it. Yes.
It's him driving around in a car with other, I guess, ex-players and celebrities. It's going to be on Fox, and it's called In the Rear View, which has to be a play on the butt fumble, right?
Probably.
Gotta be. God bless him for being able to, joke about it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we get into some baseball stuff, I just want to talk about NCAA really quickly.
65 in the building. So guys, please like, subscribe wherever you're at. Come over to YouTube and say hello.
So we had the Michigan Oklahoma game. That was the one, the Saturday, the primetime one. Am I correct? Was 15-16 matchup? Was it Oklahoma or is it?
I'm not sure.
Oklahoma, Michigan.
It was the 15-16 matchup. Yeah.
Okay.
Oklahoma ended up winning, if I'm correct. It feels like so long ago. Like I've watched.
It does. I'm like, wait. You know what?
And then plus my name was after, so I wiped my whole memory after that.
NFL week 1 screwed it all up for me because that's all I can remember is week 1.
Right. So we had a good matchup there. We have looks like Miami's playing good old 18 South Florida this week. That should be a fun one. And then I was thoroughly happy to watch Arizona State make their way out of the top 25 after losing to Mississippi State. Man, I hit a parlay this weekend because I took that spread immediately. I was like 5.5 at Mississippi State. They always play hard. I was like, boom. And then, as you all know, I'm the only Arizona Wildcat fan in the building. My Wildcats are 2-0, baby. We thriving. We got our first Big 12 matchup against Kansas State this weekend, though, on Friday. I love a good Friday game. It's a little different. And they're coming out. See, the one thing that I love that the Arizona Wildcats do is they bring back the old shit. And so they're going to have the old school logo, the old school A, like when Chuck Cecil was there for this Friday's game on their helmet. So that's one thing I do appreciate. But anyways, let's get into baseball because we didn't cover it last week. And, the Mets are having a tough time. Rizzo retired. Big news. The news came out today. I think he was at the Yankee game. Was it yesterday? Chugging a beer.
Yes.
And then retired today. So let's go ahead and talk we're going to talk about Yankees and Mets. So, Gene, I'll start with you. How you feeling about the Yankees?
I don't know. I really don't know. They took 2 out of 3 from the 70 in the building. God bless it. Thank you, people. They took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, and then they come in with the Tigers, and I thought they were gonna have, they were up. What it was 2-0 at one point, and they ended up losing like 12-2. What are they doing tonight?
Do you really want to know?
It's 11. It's 11. Wow. Yeah, 11-1. That's not going to be good. That's not good. That's not good for business.
Wait.
Yeah, that's who pitched tonight? Was it Hill? No, Rodon. Oh, he didn't even really pitch bad.
Oh, look, Yankees lost.
Doval got crushed. Weaver got crushed. Yeah. So,
well, the New York teams both losing. Yankees 11-1, Mets 11-3.
Yeah, but we expect that from little bro. You know what I mean?
Hey man, we scored more than you today, so
you gave up the same amount though. Listen,
you gave up 12 yesterday.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about yesterday, come on. Hey, Take Flight today is in the house. A great show. You guys always do a great show over there.
Hi, Brent.
I didn't even notice the haircut. I was too busy watching them get burnt.
As cooked as he is.
You couldn't ingratiate yourself worse to a team on your first day, bro. Like, I don't know. It should have been a quiet night. But can we do say one guy who's hot off the field right now is he couldn't be colder on the field for the Yankees, but he's burning hot on the field. Is Anthony Volpe stepping out for the Colts Rodon event? That's all anybody's talking about. Is he showed up with this blonde from Maine? I think she's like an IG person. I have no idea who she is.
I think but that's all in Sports Illustrated.
Was she? That's all anybody's talking about. Is Volpe.
I follow random entertainment pages, and even I saw that, and I'm like, why is this on my feed? I don't need to know about any of this.
You know what's funny? So they were talking. WFAN was talking about. I forget what show it was, but they attributed where he started getting really bad was in May, and they went public in June, which means they probably started dating in May, which means they think she is the reason that he went through the slump because his head's not playing right because he's worried about his little chippy.
Interesting.
I mean, if you can't handle a relationship,
listen, we're not all going to be Derek Jeter where we can do what he did and still be able to, make it to the game on time and be, the captain. But boy, you got to try a little bit, right? Not you, guy. Volpe, guy.
How are you feeling about the Mets?
He's right. Soto is hot right now.
The Mets are terrible right now, to say the least. They are on the tailspin. Their starting pitching isn't that great. The young guys are showing out pretty well though, but Senga got sent down to AAA. Manaea can't go past 4 innings. These guys that are the veterans aren't really giving us innings. And then when the young guys do pitch well, we can't hit. So it's not cohesive right now, and could be something in the locker room. I don't know. I think part of the reason why we were better last year is because we had a guy like Jose Iglesias, who's very important for team chemistry, keeping the locker room light. I think all successful teams have one of those guys in the locker room just to keep everybody on point, keep things loose. It's a long season. So, if you don't have that, the losing streaks kind of extend themselves to where it's like now you're pressing, and now it just tailspins. Like right now, I think, well, the Diamondbacks beat the Giants today, so that's a good thing. But man, them Giants, they've been pushing us, man. They're at what, like two
games behind?
Two games behind. So
and the Diamondbacks are 3.5. Keeping it interesting.
You know, that's the way we do it. We never like doing things the easy way. It's always got to be the last day, tiebreaker, game 163, you know, drama filled. You know, being a Mets fan could open you up for health problems later on in life. I'll just say that.
Well, how many more weeks do we have?
Maybe like a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's starting to wind down. It'll be very interesting. Like you said, there's like a couple of teams, like even right now when I was looking, I think the Cardinals are even like 4, like Diamondbacks are 3.5. I forgot. I gotta look at the standings again. There we go.
Wait, I gotta interject for a second. Johnny Boy, spot on. That was maybe one of my favorite of his too. Just gonna say. I'm gonna put that out there.
Minka Kelly, I love her so much.
The best part of 500 Days of Summer is the last 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh, that's not even funny what I know her from. I know her from Friday Night Lights, and then
she was fantastic.
She was in Euphoria as well.
She's in Euphoria?
Yeah, she plays like she's not a huge character, but one of the characters
I know the show.
This little boy, and that's their mom.
Maybe you're right. I just don't remember. I know that. Yeah, I know the show. Oh yeah, that's right. She was only in it for like one episode or something like that, though, right?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
She looks the same. I'm like, she hasn't even aged.
She looks great. Let me tell you something. Derek Jeter, solid roster, 100%. Brent. Let me tell you something. If you could take down that resume, that's a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, put him on the field, right?
I think we've all seen that meme, right? Where they had Skull Johansson was like in center field, the right field was somebody. Yeah, we've all seen that meme. The starting 9. Yeah. So, all right. 70.
All right, we had 70 people in the building. All right, and obviously this podcast is obviously Sports Rants with Abby and friends. So
but sometimes we talk about chicks.
That's true. Occasionally we talk about the Jets. But obviously we all got to have a little rant. So, Guy, I'm going to have you go off first. Get it all out.
Yeah, I think this is just a rant in general. I think football fans in general overreact for week 1s. Football's a grind, man. And so many things can happen. Injuries happen, all the time. Could change the trajectory of a season. That's why I say, like, if you lost game 1, no reason to really panic. If you won game 1, great. Build off of that. I'm just from the mindset, I don't like to get too high or too low, whether I win or lose, just to maintain that level of, clarity throughout the year. We can be prisoners of the moment a lot of times, but I mean, if you really look under a microscope and overanalyze what could have happened, what did happen, there's a lot of conjecture, right? But it is what it is at the end of the day. And there's really positives to be taken from even a bad performance. But I'm looking at consistency, week in, week out basis. That's what butters the bread at the end of the day. Can you do it for the long haul, or is just 1 week wonders? This is a good time of the year, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't be too high or too low off of week 1. A lot of teams make the playoffs starting the year off terrible. We see it every year. And there's teams that start off great that, collapse. So I would say for those fans, just, take it one game at a time. And also shout out to Aaron Rodgers.
I think Johnny Boy said it perfectly. It was like, sounds like a Dolphins fans rant.
He was a little down, a little glum. You know what? Mike McDaniel would have ran.
They should have you up on the podium instead.
God bless Mike McDaniel.
He's rough, man.
Yeah, he would get killed in New York. He would not be able to handle New York.
Imagine the media would tear him
especially
apart.
after that post game Prescott, and then having Rich Ryan call him Nerd Boy. It would be bad.
To that point, though, I think he and Tua would not handle New York.
Oh, I don't think Tua is a New York guy either.
That is the worst combo for a big market like that.
Yeah, they're just soft.
Yeah,
but the best part is you got a roster. You got a roster though, so you can fix it. You just need the right leadership.
Yep, leadership means a lot.
You're in a better spot than most of those 0-1 teams. If I'm a coach, I'm like, if I'm a coach that needs a job, I'm like, give me the Dolphin job in Miami. Great roster. You could really, if you could turn that team around in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors about John Gruden coming back.
I wouldn't want that.
I know, but that's what I've been hearing from like the rumor mill down in Miami is that because Ross likes to get a big name.
Can I be honest with you? You mend fences. It'll never happen, but you mend fences and you bring Flores back.
No,
that's what they needed. They got a guy. They wanted the opposite of Flores, and look what it did.
Yeah,
Flores with a good offensive coordinator.
I don't think he was that bad.
I was surprised when they let him go, and I was kind of like, maybe we could find his way to New York. I was, at the time.
But that was because he was never on board for Tua. He wanted Justin Herbert, and Greer wanted Tua. So there was a rift there. That was his guy. So he's like, if you don't want to coach him, then kick rocks.
Yeah, listen, I get it. Different philosophies, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, I don't know. I think that he's exactly what that team needs.
Yeah,
someone to kick them in the ass.
Gene?
All right, so my rant.
You have to also keep it down. Remember?
Yeah, I do have to keep it down. So I'm going to keep it a little quiet.
Family.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's more of a.
Can you give us a basura lesson first?
Yeah, it's
a little shimmy.
you do the legs kick. It's very similar to what Victor Cruz used to do, but it's not exactly.
Justin Fields' new touchdown dance. He's not going to do the airplane. He's going to do
the basura.
The basura.
Yeah, I agree, Johnny Boy. 75 in the building. Nice. All right, so it's not really going to be anything really crazy. I just want to say this. I want to say, I told you so. Not you, Abby. I mean, anyone. Told you so. And the line starts over there. Did Abby just leave? The line starts over there for everybody to kiss my ass with the things that I said about Justin Fields coming into the season.
I'm out again.
There's 18 tests. There's 18 of them. And so far, he's passed the first one. I wouldn't say MVP. Let's not go crazy, Johnny Boy. Because some other guys had some good games. But we will say this. Comeback player of the year. I said it when he almost had that injury. And this was my rant weeks ago, like a month ago, when we first started the show. I said, one of my rants was the black cloud has gone away from one Jets drive. It's no longer in Florham Park. It's gone elsewhere. The Jets are going to have a great outlook going forward. We have the right coach in place with the right mindset, with the right roster, and the right quarterback. And we said it before, whatever him and the OC have cooking up, they are on the same page. Justin Fields will be here for the next 12 years. Guys, go get that Justin Fields jersey. Go get it, because he's going to be here for a long time.
I think Guy passed out back there.
Yeah, he's just nervous that he's going to have to deal with. He's just nervous that he's going to have to deal with Justin Fields 24 times over the next 12 years. That's what he's upset about.
If that's the case, I'll take that.
Yeah, 25. You're gonna have to deal with him for 24 times over the next 12 years. That's gonna be rough, my friend. Listen. So my rant is the line starts over there to kiss my ass about Justin Fields being the guy that we all thought he was coming. Well, that I thought he was. I was right. Some people were wrong. Some people maybe indifferent. I don't want to talk about who was right, who was wrong. I just know I was right. That's all that matters. I was right. But that's all that matters. We have a star quarterback in New York with our team who says the right things, has done the right things since being here. And I know some people say, oh, yeah, Aaron did the right things when he got here. He said the right things when he got here. He said some things to the media that made him sound like a great guy. What, he showed up at the Knicks game and now we tossed him a cookie because he showed up at the Knicks game because he got front row seats to the Knicks game?
Yes.
Justin Fields did the same thing though, and he got a round of applause too. Everyone.
Wilson
goes, it's kudos all around. It's the same.
I'm not saying that. I'm agreeing with you with that. But what I'm saying is, what happened is we didn't have a guy throw his own teammates under the bus last week. We had a guy who, when a player made a mistake, he still stuck up for him and said, hey, we can't do that. But I at least respect the fact that I love the fact that he stuck up for me. You know, Aaron Rodgers probably would have thrown him out on the bus and got him kicked off the team already.
Because that was the late hit call, right?
Yeah.
Which would have been called had it been any other quarterback besides any New York Jets quarterback. New York Jets quarterbacks don't ever get that.
I think we got one last year. It was like the first time in years.
Has gotten a lot of late hits too. On top of that, never gets a fucking call.
No.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But things are changing with the Jets. Things are changing with the Jets. That's it.
I'm here. Like, I have two things to talk about. One of them's kind of piggybacking off of that. Okay. So the first thing I want to rant about is I will shove the Arizona Wildcats down your throat until I hear it, because you know what? We had Tyler Loop make his debut, and he was fucking fantastic, okay? He looks like a star kicker for the Ravens. And then Krosky Merritt also went to U of A last year, had a touchdown for the Commanders. So the Arizona boys are balling out. I'm very, very happy.
Oh, I didn't realize he's an Arizona guy. I didn't realize that.
I mean, he should have several, but his last school was the University of Arizona, which he did very well at. So I was very happy to see him with the Commanders have that TD. So I just want to shout him out.
He goes by the name Bill. Not Jacory. It's a great name.
And that's funny because I was like, I thought he was, because he's undrafted. He went undrafted, obviously. And then I thought he was with another team initially.
He was suspended, wasn't he? Was he suspended?
See, that's what I'm saying. There was something going on in the beginning.
Wasn't he the one that switched jerseys with somebody and they played in his place, or vice versa?
That I don't know.
I believe, somebody fact check me. I believe that's what happened.
Google it while I'm off. Google it for me while I'm going off on my other thing. Because other thing,
go ahead, girl, rant.
Off of yours. Okay. So I got a comment this week, and you know, I had mentioned, it's no secret, I'm on the record, I had projected week 1 to be a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. I don't think that's a bad thing. Some guy comments and he's just talking about like, he gives me a whole speech about you should never want your team to lose. That's a bad mentality, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry, I'm deleting his comment because you know what? I was about to just pop off on him because after all the shit I've seen with the New York Jets, I don't think it's completely unrealistic to have that sort. I'm a little jaded, and I'm jaded for a reason. I projected this team to go 11-6 last year. We went 5-12. And then I told him, well, I argued with him once and then I deleted it because I was like, I could have kept going. It was one of those things like, bro, I have time today. I will keep on going tit for tat with you, big friend, big homie. But no, I said, oh, okay. If you want me to stand on business, then I would say we would win all 17 games. But then if I did that, you'd call me fucking delusional. So excuse me for being realistic for once. And he said I wasn't a true fan because I didn't have them winning that game. And I thought that was quite ridiculous. And it pissed me off. And I went back and forth with him just like twice. And then finally I deleted it because I'm like, dude, you're saying a whole lot of nothing to me. You literally make no sense. That's what my rant was about. Sorry. Gene.
All right. So you ready?
Yes.
He faced significant college issues due to a 2019 NCAA eligibility controversy stemming from a clerical involving his jersey number at Alabama State. So I guess he was at Alabama State first. The discrepancy resulted in him playing only one game for Arizona in 2024, costing him valuable playing time and hurting his draft stock, despite excelling at the East-West Shrine Bowl game. So that's why he went in the 7th. So the error was a different player reportedly wore Krusty Merritt's jersey number 21 in the game that year. So the thing it was like a clerical thing that I guess he was listed as the wrong number, something like that. I guess I don't know, but yeah. So there was a jersey issue that happened in 2019 when he played for Alabama State.
Well, still making an impact with the Commanders, though.
Oh, listen, he's going to be good.
A lot of people picked him up in fantasy too.
Yeah, well, the Commanders did some weird stuff. Didn't they put him like 4th in the depth chart coming into week 1? And it threw a lot of people off because then people was like, oh, scrambled and they picked up Eckler at the last minute because they thought or they drafted him at the last minute if anyone had late drafts because they thought, oh, Eckler really is the guy still. And then it's still going to, we'll see what they do. Little gamesmanship, a little, it's very like, what's his name? Belichick-like.
Jaded like the color green. I see what you did there. So, well, another great show. Of course, it's 75 people across all platforms. That is exciting. We appreciate you guys joining us. We are here every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. You already know the drill. I'm Abby. We got Guy. We got Gene. Oh,
one thing, because I heard it was good for the No, I heard this was good for the algorithm. So they said, just mention it. You're going to want the algorithm to pick it up. Phillies Karen, Phillies Karen, Phillies Karen. We talked about Phillies Karen. So hopefully somebody will see that and it pops up in the algorithm.
First of all, let's talk about that because she went viral immediately and I couldn't believe it. And the kid got more. All she got was a damn ball. Kid got like pretty much signed everything.
And World Series tickets.
Yeah. And she just looked like a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, it was a jerk move.
And
you know what's funny is like the week before, did you see the one guy stole the ball from like an old man? Supposedly like the week before the Mets game. Also with the Marlins, but I believe it was in Citi Field.
Like people are, I've had foul balls like obviously come in my section and sure it's been close and I don't get it. I'm not going to sit there and like cry about it because it took a bad bounce and bounced over my head.
She obviously doesn't go to many games, I'm assuming, because she obviously doesn't know what loose, the foul ball etiquette is. It's not yours until it's in your hands. Now, if you would have knocked that out of her hands or something, like that's different. He didn't seem like the type of guy that would have done that, though. The funniest part of the story is when she came up and like patted him on the. You see, I was like, he freaked out. That was the funniest part of the story. But the kid made out like a bandit.
Yeah, kudos to the dad, though. He had a lot of patience tonight. He was like, you know what? Fine, take it.
Get
out of my freaking.
Give it a wave.
Yeah, you're ruining the whole experience for the family. And the kid was like, I thought that was a great example, though. He was like, you know what? I don't want no problems. You're going to sit here and bitch, essentially. Goodbye. Get out of my face.
I love when she was walking back and she was like, no. She did the finger wave and the no. I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm sorry. It's that haircut.
Somebody offered her $5,000 for the ball, but asked her to autograph it and say, I'm sorry. I forget who it was. I think it was like a card dealer or like a memorabilia dealer. I forget who it was, but somebody like they put a thing out there saying, we'll buy the ball for you for $5,000, but you have to autograph it and say, I'm sorry on the autograph.
That is hilarious. Yeah, that was not a good look. It was like reminded me of like the like
It
the
was the
Coldplay concert couple. She went as viral of that like
it was
immediately.
yeah.
I've never seen something take off so quickly.
It was the worst thing in a baseball game stands than maybe Bartman. Bartman might have been, it was right up there with Steve Bartman.
Yep.
Oh, and then let's talk about, since we're talking about bad fans, the fan that punched was it Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
And I think they've both been banned, if I'm correct.
They got it's not for life. I think it said like indefinitely, which means there'll be a time probably where they can lift that, right? Mm-hmm. But the crazy part was, did you see his apology? Like he did he was interviewed and he gave an apology, but he was wearing like a neck brace.
Oh yes, I saw that this morning.
You did not need that neck brace, bro. Because he really didn't get a chance to really hit him hard.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, he deserved it. You don't stop putting your hands on the players. Stop.
I agree, but he didn't really they made it sound like he shoved DeAndre too, Hopkins, and he really did. I thought it was more like a pat on the helmet.
Me too.
But the Lamar Jackson thing, it looked like he really put his weight into the Lamar Jackson one. So that I would have a problem, and I get that's probably what Lamar Jackson had the issue with. I didn't think what he did to DeAndre Hopkins walking by was that serious. It looked like him. He's like, you always see the players on the shoulders.
I thought they were doing like good job.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me too. Like you always see like the fans always want to like touch the players as they walk by and they like, reach for him. And I thought that it was more like that. But the Lamar Jackson one was definitely not. It was warranted with Lamar Jackson did at that point. I thought.
Well,
so, another thing too, real quick, we should. I don't know if you guys will discuss real quick before we get out of here. What did you guys think of the what's his name? The Jalen Carter, the ruling on that, where no suspension for a game, fine him I think $50,000. We good with that?
I think so, given that it kind of looked like it was provoked from Dak. Looking at the replay, kind of the in between the two offensive linemen, it looked like he spit in his direction. Yeah, it was kind of like a weak attempt at that, but it was the reaction that he did after he spit, which is kind of like there's a lot of shit talking that goes back and forth, but he kind of instigated it in a way. That's not excusing Carter for spitting on him. I think both guys are wrong for that. Should never do that. That's one of the ultimate disrespects that you could do. But yeah, I think Dak kind of played a part in starting that whole thing. But you got to be smarter than that as a competitor.
And again, I don't really. I think he thrown. I'm not condoning spitting on a player. I'm not, because they could incite something totally brawl. But I do think that it was fine. It was a full game anyway, really, aside from like one play.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers played more in 2023 than Jalen Carter played so far in that game. So, I think it's fine. I was actually okay with that. So.
I think maybe after they saw the replay too, they probably realized, it wasn't kind of like instigated. But either way, like, what is up with people spitting on each other? I don't know if you guys used to watch like Flavor of Love, but when Pumpkin spit on New York, it's like an iconic scene. But she hawked like
which one was Pumpkin again?
I remember
New York.
She was like that blonde with the short hair, and she got eliminated.
Was that the one when she would blink when you hear bing bing like the bike bell when she would blink?
Oh, I don't remember that.
You know what I'm talking about? There was one that used to always blink, and whenever she would blink, like when they did the confessionals, you hear bling, bling, like a bike bell.
But it's like New York is like, slap me, insert B word, and then she just hawked a big loogie at her. I mean, that thing like traveled. But that's what the Jalen Carter kind of stuff reminded me of a little bit.
It was like the Keith Hernandez Seinfeld spit.
Yeah. Johnny Boys, what is Flavor of Love? It's Flava Flav. fighting for his love, literally fighting. These women were physically fighting.
What about Hoops?
I mean,
Remember
you had
Hoops?
Flavor of Love. You
That's
had like
wild.
Rock of Love.
Yeah.
Brett Michaels.
Was it Brett Michaels or was it the other one? I always get Brett Michaels and the other guy confused.
Brett Michaels.
There's a guy from Poison and there's a guy from Motley Crue, and those two guys. I always get confused. Vince Neil and Brett Michael. To me, they're the same guy.
Yeah, no, it's Brett Michaels, and they had like you had Tila Tequila. She had a little show.
Whatever happened to? Is she still alive? She's still with us, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I love reality TV. I should add.
Was she? I thought she was gay.
Wasn't she with like Sean?
She was lesbian
for a little bit.
Was she? I thought she was a lesbian.
She's both.
She's just bisexual. Okay, so she dates both.
I thought she was with Sean Merriman when he was with the Chargers.
She might be then. I just thought she was just females. Good for her.
Mm-hmm. You know who I do like that's kind of been in the around surrounding the Rams a little bit is Brenda Song and Macaulay Culkin.
She's a delight.
She's very like a breath of fresh air. Like in my head, I'm like, I know Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got their own thing, but she is literally a breath of fresh air. I love seeing her at the games. I think it's amusing.
You know what I love? I love that we remember him now because she's with him. Because like he wouldn't even be in the spotlight still, right? Like he'd be like the guy that used to be the kid that used to be those movies, but we know him now because she's really the one that's the breadwinner, I guess you could say. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but she's the one that's working. But only that, I really even dig the fact that she's not money. She's not like Golden. It's not like she's with this other actor because he's like, she's with this guy because he must be a nice guy.
I think Macaulay Culkin's been through a lot. I mean, a lot of the child.
I'll tell you what.
A lot of the child actors, like, unfortunately, like have. You know what I mean?
I got a great Brenda Song story for another day. I can't tell it on the air, but I got a great Brenda Song story. We'll talk about it.
Brenda is very beautiful, though.
She's a nice lady.
She has not aged a bit. My God.
No, but I do have a good story. So we'll talk about that.
One thing I am following too, just randomly on TikTok, is I follow ABT's wife. And she had posted that like he got the tricep surgery and they went back to California for the doctor and stuff like that. So I'm kind of interested from that perspective. I know they were featured on the Amazon Prime show, which I'm probably not going to end up watching because now football is like fully back in every day of the week pretty much now. But I am interested to see how his recovery journey goes from her perspective.
Can I be honest? You might have seen the end of him as a Jet.
I know.
If this offensive line plays this well the rest of the year, because listen, they did that against a really good defense. It wasn't like a run-of-the-mill defense. So if they play that well, you may have seen the end of AVT as a Jet.
Yep. Anyways, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys all joining us. How many do we have in the building right now? Still with us?
70.
70 still. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. We're here every Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern. You already know the deal. Everything sports, of course, full swing with NFL, but obviously NBA is going to start very, very soon. College basketball will be back very, very soon. So obviously we'll have that thrown in the mix. But man, we made it.
Sun Devils.
Stop it. What a very it was just a very exciting week with like football on. And I don't know if I mentioned, I've never had the NFL Sunday ticket. So it's very crazy for me with all the screens and stuff. And I'm like, my brain literally cannot focus here. I was like switching the audios every 2 seconds. And then of course there's Red Zone on there. And I've never actually watched Red Zone. And so I didn't realize it actually switches every 30 seconds. And I'm like, I wanted to see the next play. And all of a sudden there's a touchdown. I'm watching
Adderall, Abs. Adderall. It fixes everything. It fixes all of it.
I know. I was like genuinely like, I don't know where to look. Like that's why I said I was mainly like, okay, I'm just going to stick with the Broncos game because I have more of an investment here. You know what I mean? And obviously the Jets will be playing the Broncos later on down the line. So Johnny Boy says, Abs, it's a must watch. You can see how toxic the locker room was. Conklin goes and says, I never get the ball. And speaking of Tyler Conklin, I did a whole video, him with the Chargers on Thursday night. Like, that was a game.
Oh, yeah. I like Conklin, but you know what? I think it would. I have no problem with it.
We weren't going to keep him. We weren't going to keep him.
It was time to move in and let these younger guys see what they can do. This was the time to do it.
But don't you get sad seeing New York Jets players thrive, former New York Jets players thrive with other teams? There's a lot of them.
In some cases, him, no, because like I said, I didn't want him here because I wanted to see what we had with Rucker and what we had. And Rucker played well.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see what we had with Rucker. I wanted to see what we had with Mason Taylor. And it was time to flip the page at tight end. So I know he still has something in the tank. So I know wherever he went he was going to be good. So it doesn't bother me. It would bother me more if we got rid of him and we had no answer at tight end. And he went somewhere else.
All New York, all former New York Jets players. Let's throw in Sam Darnold. Let's throw in Geno Smith. Let's throw in someone else was playing. I forgot who else was playing. Oh, we even faced I thought there was a former player that we faced this weekend too that made a tackle with the Steelers.
Wait, say it again?
Very wrong. There was a former New York Jet player on defense who is the one that intercepted Josh Allen 3 times in a game? I thought he was with the Steelers now.
Is he? No, I thought you're talking about Whitehead. I think, isn't he back?
I'm about to look now. I swear I saw there's a bunch of players. He's with where is he? Well, now he's with
the Bucs.
Well, now it says the Falcons were working him out.
Maybe. I forget. I thought he was somewhere. I thought he could have been the Bucs. What was it?
Look, Eccles. There we go. Johnny Boy knew what I was talking about. That's what I'm saying. There's
Brandon
a lot
Eccles
around the league finding success.
Eccles is decent.
Good. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers
Eccles
too.
was very good. Huh?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
too.
but I didn't mention that one guy because I knew
I don't miss him.
Who?
I'm more like never heard of him. I would have been like,
go ahead.
Please leave, Aaron.
You should
All
have
right, well, we
double
appreciate you
checked.
guys joining us. We are here every Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern. And follow us on social media. We're on X, we're on Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We obviously have our personal pages as well. Feel free to follow. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Wait, when can I do a little housekeeping real quick?
Go ahead.
Starting next week, Prop Stars, they obviously are moving from Monday to Tuesday, but they will be on 2 days a week at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we'll have now 5 different shows. Well, 4 shows, 5 different time slots. And we will be bringing hashtag sports, which will be on a couple of times a week. That'll be starting in about a month or so. But yeah, so look for Prop Stars with TJ and Buff on Tuesdays at 10. So they can go over the week before, and on Thursdays at 10, so they can go over the next week of football. So
and you still have the pop off.
We still have the pop off on Fridays, obviously. Yep.
Fridays.
So, but we are the lone nighttime show. So if you want to watch something at night, we're the place to go. We're back up to 75.
It'll be the perfect ASMR with all our yelling back and forth.
Yeah. Or lack thereof, but yes.
Yeah, guys, rant could have probably put you to sleep today.
I had to be quiet because I'll get in trouble.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Later, guys.